Good afternoon. I'm Kate Bulkley. I'm an independent journalist based in the UK, and I have the honor of introducing our keynote speaker. We are very happy to have Anthony Bay, who is Amazon's global head of digital video, come to us to speak all the way from Seattle, Washington, where he's based. Anthony has a very interesting history. He worked at Apple for 8 years. He was the internet and online and marketing services man at Apple. And during his time there, he also spent about 3 years in Paris, in Europe. He speaks a little bit of French. He says to me he speaks a little bit better German, so keep that in mind if you're talking to him afterwards. He also worked at Microsoft for 6 years. He ran their multimedia, including Windows Media. And before that, after Microsoft and before he joined Amazon, he worked for a number of smaller companies in digital media and also some e-commerce companies. Amazon is obviously a big company, 50 billion, close to 15 billion in sales. Amazon is moving into our space in a big way, has been in our space in a big way in terms of retailing DVDs, but of course now moving into the streaming business. In Europe, we know them as Lovefilm in some markets. So Anthony's going to give us his view of what Amazon is doing and where it's going in terms of video, both online and probably packaged as well. So would you please give a warm welcome to Anthony Bay.
Right now? Thanks. Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here at MIPTV. This is the first time for Amazon at this event, and we're looking forward to sharing a little bit about our company and what we're doing in video and how we can work together. So my objectives today are to share a little bit about who Amazon is. We find that a lot of cases, in particular in this industry, we're not as well known. So a little background on Amazon. What we are doing in video, what we have been doing in video for a number of years, how we can work together. We have a lot of partnerships and a lot of licensing agreements with a number of companies who are exhibiting here. And frankly, if you're not yet talking with us, you really should be. And we'll talk about that more as we go on. So Amazon.com's objective is to be the most customer-centric company on the planet. Everything we do starts with the customer and works backward. And the core tenets of our value proposition really are based on these three things. Selection, so have the broadest possible selection available for customers, provide the best value and the most convenience. And those are the core tenets of the company across everything that we do, including video, and I'll talk more about that. There's a lot of words on this slide, but the key thing to take away here is Amazon, in a very short period of time really, has become the largest e-commerce company in the world, close to $50 billion in revenue. In addition to e-commerce, we have one of the largest internet hosting and cloud platforms in the world, something called Amazon Web Services. So a number of companies, in addition to Amazon, run their internet technologies and internet businesses on Amazon's web platform. We have, in the last 12 months, 164 million customers who've bought something from Amazon. That's still growing very rapidly. That's across the US, Europe, and Japan and China. And every one of those customers' relationship with us includes a secure account. So that account includes payment information, purchase history, status of orders, and all the content they buy from us. So we not only have a lot of traffic, we know a lot about who our customers are, and our goal every day is to learn and understand ways in which we can do more for them. In addition to that, there's approximately 2 million non-Amazon companies that sell on Amazon.com. So Amazon, in addition to being a retailer and a digital service provider, is also an e-commerce platform for other companies to sell things. When it comes to video, we have one of the larger catalogs of digital video in the world. In the United States, we have 120,000 individual titles available for sale or rent, and very rapidly growing in mobile as well. So we cross all of the classic parts of the industry, both selling physical goods as well as digital. And last year, for the first time, Amazon had become the world's #1 retail brand. So this was a study by an English company called Millward Brown Optimo, and they interviewed 2 million consumers around the world as to their views of a wide range of different retailers. And Amazon, for the first time, was ranked as the #1 brand in the world for retail. And we're very pleased that our customers trust us enough to put us in that position. Our heritage as a company is in retailing media. So we started selling books. I think many people know that story. But that expanded to CDs, DVDs, and Blu-ray. We were a very early entrant in Blu-ray. And so on the home entertainment side of the media business, not so much on the television side, we've been involved for a long period of time. And our sales continue to grow very rapidly year over year, including in the packaged media business, which in some areas is declining, and certainly not for us. But as you can see from this slide, although our sales continue to go up, this is a book chart. Although our sales continue to go up for physical books, the sales of digital books have really skyrocketed in a very short period of time. So we're at the point, and I think we've announced this publicly, that the number of electronic books that we sell exceeds the number of physical books. But the important point to take away is that has not been at the expense of physical books. We don't see the world as an either-or. For some people, a physical book is the best choice. For others, an electronic book. And frankly, for most customers, they buy both. And what we found is that as a result of offering digital, our relationship with customers has increased and they actually buy more. We're seeing the same thing in video. We have a very similar chart if we were to show you for our physical disc business, DVDs and Blu-rays, and digital video. And we're also, in the last year or so, we introduced an app store, Android app store, and we're also seeing the same kind of thing. So one of the questions originally a few years ago might have been, well, Amazon has been very effective at helping customers sell physical products. How will that transition to digital? And I think we've seen that the trust that we've built up with customers in physical is transitioning very, very well to digital. So I'll talk a little bit about what we are doing in video, what we have been doing in video. Amazon launched its first video store in the United States in 1998, selling at the time VHS and DVDs. If you go to Amazon in the US and search online, I think there's something over 500,000 different DVDs that are available. And we still carry tens of thousands of DVDs, of VHS tapes. So we have a very, very broad assortment, as I said in the beginning, focused on selection. We also acquired in that year a company called IMDb. I think most people here are probably familiar with IMDb. I'll talk a little bit more about that later. So early on, we realized that it was very important to be able to provide information, recommendations, and editorial about products as well as just selling them. And that same theme has carried all the way forward. Lovefilm, which became part of Amazon last year, launched its DVD rental in 2004. We were among the first to offer Blu-rays in 2006, and in 2006 in the United States, we launched our digital video services for video on demand and EST, and Lovefilm in that same year started as well. Lovefilm launched its own digital video service in 2009, and we launched a subscription service in the US last year. This year, Lovefilm announced it has over 2 million subscribers, and I'll talk more about this later, but streaming usage has passed DVD usage. So as you can see, we have a long heritage in the business, and although it's historically started on the home entertainment part of the business, as a result of our SVOD services in the UK, Germany, and in the US, we've become a very significant participant in that industry in a short period of time. The value proposition, again, starts with the same 3 core pieces. I think one of the interesting things about Amazon for customers is we're really helping them along a very broad spectrum. From discovering things about information, both on Amazon's website with IMDb, actually we're involved with IMDb pre-production, all the way through the development of a picture, theatrical, reviews, and editorial. Lovefilm is in there as well, starting around theatrical. And then we sell product in the DVD window, and now in the United States with EST, we do early window EST, so prior to DVD with some studios. VOD, so we offer pretty much all the movies in the catalog, assuming rights are available, on a a la carte rental basis. And we have a subscription offer. So customers are able to get a combination of things. We don't see these as separate worlds as much as we see them as different ways in which customers can get access to content. So one of the advantages of working with Amazon is we can provide you an ability to reach consumers in a very wide range of different business models and give customers a chance to pick and choose the kind of investment they want to make and when they want to be able to see things. We have 3 or 4, 5 in this case, different offers. I'll talk a little bit about these. We have a DVD and Blu-ray store, as I think you probably know, and as I mentioned. It was just announced in the UK, I think in either January or February, that Amazon is now the #1 media retailer in the UK. I think that's also true in Germany. As I said, we have Amazon Instant Video in the US for digital rental and purchase. We have the Lovefilm service in Europe. We have a business called Manufacturing on Demand, which started in the US and has been expanding into several countries in Europe, where if you are interested in publishing and don't want to go through a classic distributor but want to publish directly to our audience, we basically will take your digital files, take the DVD, and essentially make the DVD on demand, put it on the site, and someone can buy it. We have that relationship with a number of major studios as well as small companies. So in a lot of cases, it lets major studios take product that might otherwise not make economic sense to put into full retail and make discs available. We do the same thing for digital. So we have tens of thousands of digital titles that we take individually. We do this in Kindle as well. In the Kindle world, it's called Kindle Direct Publishing. So if you have authors that want to publish, they can publish directly to Amazon. And then lastly, as I mentioned, we have IMDb. So we have a very wide range of ways in which we can work with you and help you to build businesses to reach customers together. So this is a list of a small number of the companies that we have commercial licensing relationships with today. This is expanding all the time. And these relationships cross most of the windows that I was describing. And again, they're both US brands and European publishers, distributors, and studios. In addition, we continue to invest very significantly in building up an ecosystem, if you will, of playback. So our intention is to make sure that customers can watch on whatever product they have, whether it's a smart TV, a Blu-ray player, a game console, a tablet, any of the things that you see on that page. That's an ever-expanding list. There's hundreds of different devices, but that gives you a sense of a few of them. We have a large development group based in London as part of acquiring Lovefilm and bringing Lovefilm into the Amazon family. We have now 2 development centers for video. So video is developed in the United States and in Europe. So it's not all a US-based business anymore, and a lot of the core work is being done in Europe now. A little bit on IMDb. IMDb has 150 million unique visitors every month. It's the #1 movie site worldwide, 40 million visitors to the application every month. And people use this as a very trusted resource for information about movies, information about actors. So we have a company that's part of Amazon called Lovefilm, which many of you may be familiar with. Lovefilm is in 3 countries. The UK is home and the largest market, also Germany, and then Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. And stay tuned for future expansion plans there. Lovefilm, in addition to offering a subscription service, which started with DVDs, also does a lot of marketing and editorial support and recommendation. So in addition to just, as I mentioned, putting content out there, making it available. We invest a lot of time, money, and energy in helping our customers to understand more about what's playing, both in theaters, actually, with Lovefilm before it's available in Lovefilm's windows, but also in terms of what to watch. And one of the challenges with the internet and content, in particular subscription services, when you have thousands of things to choose from, is recommendations and searching carry you so far. But it's very helpful to have the ability to get some guidance in terms of what's interesting, what you might want to watch, and so we spend a lot of time on the editorial part of Lovefilm as well. We announced earlier this month, last month in March, that streaming had overtaken DVD rental at Lovefilm. Lovefilm continues to grow quite well on the DVD side, but we've seen the same, if you will, line that I described on Kindle happening in our digital viewing in the UK and Germany. So we're very, very pleased with that transition. And we've done a lot of consumer marketing. We're spending a lot of resource to help educate consumers about internet video. So in conclusion, we're very committed to digital. We see digital as a very key part of the way in which we can serve customers. Very focused on providing great offers, and we can't do that without you. We're a way to reach customers, and together we think we can provide very, very great and compelling offers for customers. Our core business is all about partnerships. We make our money out of helping customers find things they want, and those things come from other people. So our opportunity to work together to deliver video in a digital age to customers together with you, we think is very powerful. And as I said, if you're not talking with us yet, we'd really like to. There's a number of people from Amazon Lovefilm here today.
I'm glad to know that you've been doing it for people since 2004.
Thank you.
Okay, let's start this way. I mean, that was a really interesting presentation. I think gave people a really good idea about where you are in the space. Obviously, video is not a new business for you in terms of the entertainment business. But obviously, getting into the streaming business and licensing films in a different way, this is obviously a little newer. Let's start with just like coming in at 30,000 feet. A lot of us know what Apple stands for. It's a cool technology that says swipe. It's the iPad. It's the 70-30 revenue split. If I asked you, what does Amazon stand for in this space, in the video television space, what would you say?
I'd say the same thing I said during the presentation, which is we start from the customer and work backwards, always. And so our view would be, what is it that we can provide that people would be interested in? So we focus on the broadest possible selection, the best value, most convenient. So, for example, one of the reasons that we're spending as much resource on making sure it can play back everywhere is that our assumption is people want to watch wherever they are. It might be on their television, it might be on a laptop, it might be on a phone, it might be anywhere.
On a tablet.
It might be a tablet, could be anything. And that tablet could be from us, that tablet could be from another company, could be from Apple. We're on the iPad. So we're agnostic about playback, but we are passionate about making sure that what we do is focused on customers. Yeah. So whatever delivers
What's
value.
Interesting, though, I mean, from my perspective, is I look at what Apple's doing, and they're sort of in the device business. I mean, that's what they've said it. We know it. And it's not that the content is secondary, but the content helps sell the devices. I think it's possibly the other way around with you guys, or is that not the way I should be thinking about it?
I don't know if I would think about it in exactly those terms, but if you look at the Kindle, and the Kindle is priced very aggressively because the primary objective is to get it into people's hands so that they can essentially experience digital content. And that premise is that if people start using them, they'll enjoy it and they'll look more. So I don't know how well the phrase translates, but I think the Kindle team would describe it as a content-forward strategy. The device, when you turn on a Kindle, it goes right to the books. Or when you turn on a Kindle Fire in the US, it goes right to whatever you've been watching or listening to or reading. And so it brings you right into the experience.
Let's talk a little bit about the Kindle Fire, because it is interesting. That's really the video device. Now, that launched just recently in the US. Was it September?
Middle of November.
Middle of November, okay. So middle of November in the US. Obviously, that's video as well as everything else. How is that going? I mean, is that you know, whenever we hear another iPad launch, you know, how fast are they selling? How is that going? Is that your next big thing?
I think what we've said is that people seem to be very happy with Kindle Fire.
Okay, so it's selling pretty well.
You know, people seem to be very happy with their Kindle Fires.
Okay, when do you think we'll see them in Europe?
I think the answer is stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Okay, so you haven't set a launch date, but obviously it's coming. I assume.
Stay tuned.
Okay. Obviously, for this audience, that's interesting because that's a video device as opposed to. I mean, the Kindle's great.
The Kindle's great.
It's a book device. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, we launched the Kindle Touch in France, Italy, and Spain. I think this last week, and that's again that seems to be doing quite well.
Yeah.
And so we found people really like Kindles, and
Yeah.
this is the Kindle Fire adds more dimensions. It's not just video; it's a multimedia. I guess the simple way to describe it is applications, music, video, as well as books.
Let's talk about your content strategy. You said several times from the podium, you said, you know, we're open for business, come and talk to us. If you're not talking to us, you should be talking to us. Let's delve into that a little bit more. I remember Jeff Bezos said something, I think it was to Business Week in an article at the end of last year. He said, we're in the business of offering premium content at non-premium prices. Sort of along those lines. In other words, it was the idea is premium products at non-premium prices. That was his quote. The idea that, you know, he's trying to actually get the ecosystem going. He's trying to get people to watch this video, et cetera. So how does that translate into this space? I mean, what kind of things are you looking for? Everything? I mean, long form, movies,
you know, I don't,
series?
I'm not familiar with a specific quote, but I think that might have been more about the devices.
Oh, it might have been the devices.
That,
okay.
You know, the idea is to provide a premium product at a non-premium price, as I said,
and that's
to get
why
it
the
into
Kindles
people's hands.
The Kindles were lower priced. Okay.
Get it into people's hands.
Okay.
You know, we are a retailer, and that would mean essentially that we work on a wholesale retail basis. So it's up to the content owner to decide, for the most part, what they're interested in selling things for, and it's up to us to decide, you know, whether we take those things and how we present them to customers. But the simplest way to think about it is from a sale or rental point of view. We will take everything. I mean, our goal is literally to carry everything. So if it's available transactionally, we want to have it. That will not be the same assortment in every country. Again, availability will vary. So on the transactional side, for purchase and rental, everything. On the subscription side, that depends. You know, we assemble what we think is a great offer for customers. We talk to a variety of different licensors and come up with, you know, what we think is a good offer for customers.
Because that also marks you out from, say, a Netflix, because the Netflix is a subscription service only. You guys, I mean, through Lovefilm, you're a subscription service, but you also have, you say, you know, transactional as well. So it seems like you're trying to go after all the different windows.
Yeah, and I had a slide on that. So the idea is actually even prior, finding information about understanding we do things in the theatrical window, pre-theatrical window from an information point of view. We take very early pre-orders. You know, one of the things is a lot of times people are very excited right after they see a movie, and so we make it possible for people to order early and then get delivered later. So I think that's one of the differences is that we can offer customers a wider range of choices. Subscriptions are great. Sometimes you want to rent a movie that's not available in that window or own a movie. I think certainly the entertainment business, the studio side of the entertainment business wants to transition the success they had in physical discs to digital ownership. And you know, we were probably one of the first companies to offer a digital locker, which we offer today. So anything you buy lives in your Amazon locker.
Up in the cloud.
Up in the cloud, wherever the cloud is.
Wherever the cloud is, but you can access it on whatever device you have.
Yes, assuming that we support that device at that moment.
Right,
yes.
exactly. Which gets me to another series of questions. In terms of that, well, let's get ultraviolet out of the way. So in terms of the digital locker, are you also supporting the ultraviolet move that the studios are doing, or are you in a wait-and-see mode on that?
I think we at CES said that we continue to evaluate ultraviolet and its potential to provide value for customers, and that's, I think, our current status.
Okay. In terms of, you know, certainly we've seen this in the UK, because I'm based in the UK. We're seeing a lot of activity in the VOD space, and particularly in the subscription VOD space.
Yes.
Because Netflix has come in with a big noise in the UK. Lovefilm is already there. I assume we're going to see similar things happen in Germany and whatever other markets you launch in next. How is that? I mean, the studios obviously love it. The content makers love it because it will push prices up. How do you think that's going to play out? I mean, what are you willing to spend to make this business work in terms of accessing the content?
I don't think I can answer a question like that.
But you're serious about this, right? This is an important part of Amazon.
I think if you ask any of the companies we're licensing from, or we're talking with, that there would be no doubt that we're very serious. We have if you look at the content assortment we have in the UK, we have a very compelling offer, both in discs and in digital, growing in digital more all the time. So the biggest thing that's happened in the UK is there's been so much press focus on subscription VOD, probably more than any other market so far in Europe. And that's great. It helps people understand what's available. Right.
Do you think you'll keep the Lovefilm brand, or do you think it'll be Amazon? Because in the States, what is it? Amazon Prime Instant, and Amazon Instant is what it is.
We have in the United States, it's called Amazon Instant Video for transactions, and Amazon Prime Instant Video, which is a feature of the Prime service. So in the US, the subscription is part of Prime, and here it's a standalone subscription on the Lovefilm brand. And we're happy.
You'll keep it for the time.
I wouldn't make any prediction about any branding. We have what we have, and so far it seems to be working pretty well.
No, it's just that Amazon is such a, not that Lovefilm is a big brand in the UK, but it isn't necessarily known in other countries. And Amazon is, Amazon stands for something. It stands for electronic retailing, it stands for books. So I was just wondering if you were planning on merging the...
I would say we're happy with what we're doing.
We're happy with what you're doing. Okay, good. Let's talk about the business, because I think that it's interesting what's happening with Windows, if you see what I mean. As we get more and more devices, as we get more and more ways of accessing content, there's all kinds of things going on. We have windows that we call them collapsing windows, the fact that the windows are getting smaller. We're seeing for instance, we used to have 6 months, a year and a half between a TV release in the States before it would get to Europe. Now it's a matter of days, sometimes it's the same day. What do you think's happening in that, and how is that going to affect what you're doing with Amazon's video business?
We will take advantage of whatever opportunities there are to provide those things to customers based on what the licensors are open to doing. I think the thing you have to remember is that for certain segments of the population, the content's available immediately because it's pirated. And so a lot of the challenge as the internet develops is how do you create a great digital offer for customers that they will buy for? There are certain generations that struggle with whether they should pay for content anymore. The music business went through this. So our goal is to provide a great value proposition for customers. And to do that, of course, we need the content owners to participate. I think in some cases it's less the window issue as it is the geographic restrictions. I think that's one of the next frontiers is people will watch things with the internet. People can watch things across countries, and there's ways of making that work. So it's definitely not going to get less interesting.
It's probably going to get more complicated before it gets less complicated. That's true.
I think so, and that's also, though, from a customer trust point of view, one of the reasons we think we can add a lot of value is we have a brand that's trusted, and we focus very much on customers. So if it's on Amazon, then you can know a lot of things about that. So we think that's important, and one of the things we can offer people.
Let's talk about the social bit, because that seems to be really important too. I know that on my Amazon account, the recommendation thing, sometimes I find it a little annoying if I've bought a sailing book for my dad, and then suddenly I'm getting pushed a lot of sailing books, and actually I'm not that interested in sailing, I just bought a book for it. How are you going to work on that for video? Because I know that that's really a big part of where we're going, I think, in this next stage, is recommendation, search, discovery.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry if we're giving you recommendations that are not interesting. The system should learn from that.
Yeah, they should.
It should. Well, it's otherwise it's not doing its job, and it's annoying. And we spend a tremendous amount of time and energy trying to make recommendations that are useful. And a lot of the benefit we have is that we know something about you. We know what you bought. We know what you've done, and we can use that opportunity to help suggest things to you. For the most part, people are pretty pleased with it. And with Prime shipping, one of the benefits we've seen is it changes people's purchase patterns. Certainly in the US, well, it depends on the country, but in the US, for example, you pay $79 a year for a Prime membership, and then shipping is free. We've seen it really changes people's purchase behavior. We have people who go online and buy toothpaste, one tube, comes to your house. And in some cases, it's same-day delivery. And in a number of countries here, you have same-day delivery. So when you can buy online with no shipping costs, and it shows up within 1 to 2 days, people trust it, they begin to buy differently. And so a lot of what we've seen in digital is that shift to an impulse purchase. When Kindle, the number of books that Kindle owners buy compared to physical books is really remarkable. So recommendations, the goal is to help you find things that are important to you and make your life better.
Let's talk about competitors. I mean, do you think the biggest competitor to your business is Netflix, or is it Apple, or is it the cable channels, or is it YouTube getting into premium video content? I mean,
I know this will sound simplistic, but we literally focus on customers. What can we do for customers? The fact that other people are doing similar things is great because it raises the awareness, and our job is to provide the best value for our customers that we can.
Okay. How about the buying, actually putting money into content? I mean, Netflix is, you can see it on the Quasette. We have, the Steven Van Zandt thing, Lilyhammer, House of Cards is coming. Their whole model seems to be moving a little bit more towards sort of an HBO type model. Is that something that you have on your roadmap?
We have something called Amazon Studios, which is public. If you go to Amazon, I think it's amazonstudios.com. The idea for that is different. The system of Amazon Studios is people who otherwise might not be able to find an audience for their script, get their script read, or a test movie viewed, can put it on Amazon Studios and kind of crowdsourcing. Okay. Other people can read that and comment on it, and when there's something that's very popular, then there's an opportunity for us to look at getting involved in the production of that together with others.
Have you done a lot of that? Have you gotten involved?
It's pretty new.
Just new,
so,
okay.
Yeah.
So it's just starting, really?
It's just starting.
Sounds a little bit like there's a couple of websites like Indiegogo and Kickstarter. Those are kind of crowdsourcing sites where people go and put film ideas up and say, I need the money, send me some money. Is it sort of like that, but except you might, as Amazon, the company, might actually put some money in?
There's actually a $1 million prize.
There's a $1 million prize?
Yeah, the first $1 million prize for 2000, it was an annual prize of $1 million. There's a monthly prize and an annual prize, and so So somebody won $1 million.
Somebody in the States did?
Somebody in this, I don't know where they were from.
Oh, right. So, and are we into the new year now?
Yeah, it would have been for 2011.
So we got $1 million out there, guys.
Yeah, I think so if you
put in your ideas now.
Put in your ideas. Yeah, well,
what's the monthly prize?
I'd have to go. There was a different price for script. I don't know offhand, but it's all listed on the site.
All right, but that's your approach as opposed to commissioning content or getting involved in the development stage.
I wouldn't speculate about what we might do in the future, but we're trying that right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. Okay.
It is.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's an interesting question. How important is it to actually get involved with the ownership of the content? And you can approach it from two different sides. It sounds like you're saying, well, basically we're a distributor, we'll acquire, we'll license, that kind of thing, but we're not going to actually develop and fund our own at the moment, except for this, maybe if we see something really cool.
I'm not making any predictions. I'm only saying what we do today.
Yeah. Okay.
What we do today is what I described. What we might do in the future would be forecasting, and I can't do that.
That's true. That's true. You don't want to get into forecasting.
No.
Listed company. All right. Okay, what else? I mean, it seems to me that this is a really interesting time for you. I think the other thing that I didn't get into quite as much, I'm going to ask you a couple more tough questions about what these people can expect in terms of money.
You save them for the end?
I save them for the end.
Yeah.
I know that obviously each deal will be commercially done on a deal-by-deal basis, but we sort of have an idea that, you can get an upfront fee and a revenue share, or if it's if it's at VOD, you're going to get probably a share of the advertising revenue. Do you have sort of a roadmap for those kind of things, or is each deal done separately, depending on what the deal is?
We wouldn't talk about deals, but I think for the most part, everyone who distributes content right now, especially those who sell to television, are trying to figure out what their business model is for SVOD.
Yeah.
So, we're just part of that process.
So you're willing to discuss all kinds of things,
Sure. Yep.
upfront fees, revenue share, all that kind of stuff.
I wouldn't get specific. I would say we work with people across a wide range of different types of offers and different business models, and as long as we can find something that customers will like, we're willing to try lots of things.
Great. Well, that's the kind of thing we like to hear at this market, willing to try lots of things. Yep. I think it's a really exciting time for your company, but also for a lot of companies that are in this space. A little scary, because it's like, what are these? It was funny, Tony Cohen this morning, the head of Fremantle Media, called these kind of companies, Amazon and Netflix, and he says, well, they're the disruptors. And I said, yes, they're the disruptors, but it's also an interesting thing going forward. He said, oh yeah, we're working with them. He's working with Hulu. So it's an interesting time, but it's also a bit of a scary time. So sort of as your last word, what would you say, in terms of your ambition to sort of work with this industry? What would you say?
We have a long heritage of helping people who make wonderful content sell and market that content. And frankly, digital is not fundamentally that different. The windows are different. Our world historically was home entertainment. Yep. And the subscription world, Lovefilm started in 2004 in subscription, and we moved into digital probably 3 years ago. So, the relationships have expanded, but for the most part, I think we believe we can be a great partner. Our whole company is built around partnerships. That's what we do. We help people who have great products match up with customers who are looking for great products. And we do the same thing in digital services. So we're probably one of the, we believe we can be a great partner as well as a great place for customers.
Great. Well, we look forward to seeing more of you and doing more deals with you, I guess.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah. Please join me in thanking Anthony Bay.